Well, good morning to everybody, and well, it might be afternoon, it might be evening when you're watching this tape, but it's morning for us here at the MCG at the moment. The Division 1 game between Victorian Metropolitan and West Australia. On day 2 of the Ansett AFL Under-18 National Championships, Terry Wheeler joins me in commentary, the AIS AFL Academy head coach, and we had a fine start to the competition yesterday. Terry, looking forward. This is Division 1 today.
Division 1 brings in the major states throughout Australia, and Western Australia and Victoria Metropolitan, two very strong groups. The WA have 10 boys, in actual fact, Rob, who are AIS AFL Academy scholarship holders. That's a very strong contingent there, and Vic Metro have some half a dozen as well. So there's some really talented players out here on display today.
Of course, Division 1 last year, Victorian Country defeated Victorian Metro quite convincingly, actually 11-16 to 3-10, game 2. A little later on today, we'll see the Victorian Country pitted against South Australia. Meanwhile, this is WA, Western Australia, and the Victorian Metro doing battle out here at the MCG, and quickly into attack, this time through Carazzo. It was for the Victorian Metropolitan side, getting the ball down there, but a good mark taken here across half-back by Quentin Lynch from West Perth. And while things might seem a little hazy to you, perhaps where you might be watching this video, let me tell you that it is pretty hazy here in Melbourne today, and the MCG is, well, a little shroud of fog still over the ground out there.
Yeah, it's going to be tough conditions early on for the boys. As you said, there is a bit of dew across the ground as I walked across earlier on this morning, and the sky will burn off and will be very bright and sunny later on this afternoon, but a tough first half for the conditions for the boys here today.
Seaby doing the ruck work in there for Western Australia, got it down here to Rutherford, and he's off on centre wing. This is Rutherford, who pushes it down towards centre half forward. And a good battle down here at the moment. Sees the Victoria Metro defending through Roden, playing in front, gets it nicely out here to Ball. Ball goes back right into the square. Oftentimes it's dangerous football, but it's worked for them okay. Sam Power, we see hands to him, and a good handball. Sees the kick delivered up here onto to half-back. And we might see a 50-metre or not. No, umpire wasn't getting sucked into that. And the player there trying to get him involved was Charlie Gardner, I think. Gardner will drive to centre wing, play here all on his own, and will deliver this ball with little chip kicks here in the Victoria Metro just inside the boundary line. Terry Welsh it is. Quite content to send it around with just little chip kicks.
The impressive part there was Andrew Tuck was the player who had the initial kick in the back pocket, then has come on again, and here he is. And then just this continual run here from the Vic Metro side. So Tucky's been involved in 3 disposals from the back pocket to this forward pocket. He runs a little bit like the old man used to.
It was a good call of yours, actually, because when you started to tell me all about it, we could see him running up through centre wing here, and he's moved right up deep into the forward line, right into the pocket here. Let's find out whether or not he can kick. Oh, this is coming back just nicely enough for the Victorian Metro to open up their account here. Andrew Tuck, Dandenong Berwick. Well, you said about the old man. Let's tell us a bit about him.
Oh, well, Andrew has done very well. He's through the under-16 championships last year. He just continues to present himself in the game, and he just covers an enormous amount of territory throughout a match. And that was probably the best display of it, when we had Luke Ball spin it across the Sam Power deep in the defensive goal square, and there was Andrew Tuck on this near side of the ground in the back pocket, and then involved the full length of the MCG, which is a fair track of ground.
We, Victoria Metro and Victorian Country get pitted together. Perhaps a little bit later on we might see the cousins in battle. Tuck and Ablett.
They will be, yes.
Well, that'll be interesting. We'll be having a look at young Ablett a little bit later on, which I know he's certainly captured the imagination of a lot of people. Okay, let's have a look at Western Australia to attack. A big kick here from Lynch, drives it right down into the forward zone. There's a couple of players down here for the Victoria Metro playing in front of this little fellow here. He's got one in the back, but I think it'll be... No, he's going to get the free kick here. And this is David Roden. Roden's had a couple of touches so far.
And so he should have. A Morris medal winner in TAC Cup competition here in Victoria, and he really just gets in and gets a lot of football for himself. Kick
covers about 45 metres. Pack forms to the ground. Second touch here for Gardner. Gets hands off. And that looked like McKenzie. It might have been down in that back pocket. This fella here's going to get caught with the ball. Welsh just a little bit slow. Quick hands here from Carazzo. Manages to get them away. Comes back for a second tip. Now the West Australian boys in there fighting hard. They're outnumbering the Victorians, but they just can't quite get clean possession of it at the moment. And Carazzo comes back out of that little melee and uses a little bit of vigour and gives the football back to the umpire. Centre wing, it's on the member side here of MCG, just to paint the picture for you. And at the moment, the Victoria Metropolitan side are kicking to the Melbourne end goal, while West Australia kicking to the Punt Road end. So left of screen for you for Western Australia, right of screen for Victorian Metro. Don't mind this young Seaby at the moment. His ruck work's been okay. I know it's very, very early doors, Terry. 4 minutes and 19 seconds gone to the quarter, but what I see I do like.
Well, you've picked a good one very early, Rob. Mark Seaby has also been a scholarship holder in basketball with the Australian Institute of Sport, but has chosen Australian rules football, which is great to see, and actually was in Melbourne with us here in January doing a ruck academy. So he has been identified nationally as one of the good ruckmen coming through.
Gets a nice tap out. Finds Lynch. Lynch's kick smothered though. This allows the Victorian country back in. Clever. Gardner it was in a bit of trouble. Managed to spin backwards. Got it moving in towards the centre of the ground. Good use of the body here by the Victorians. They get over the top of the ball and are managing to keep their feet, which is good. Sam Power races into the forward zone, and that's delivered with precision straight to Gutterson and hit him right on the chest.
That's the trademark of Sam Power's work. Whether he's coming off half-back or off the wing, his use of the ball is excellent. The brother of Luke with the Brisbane Lions, and just plays a different sort of a game, but just a quality user of the ball, Sam Power.
All right, Brent Gutterson it is. I presume that's how we pronounce it. Lines up for goal, offline though, and through for behind. So the Victorian Metropolitan open up their score on the points side of the ledger. They go to 117. Western Australia yet to score.
Gutterson always presents himself as a forward. He's a very strong leading player, marks well both on that lead and overhead, and always is presenting something for the players coming down the field.
Fullback brings it in for Western Australia. I tell you what, he I think was looking out there for Seaby, but Seaby got underneath the ball and there were two Victorians were there. They're going to get out of trouble here. Good hands here from Carazzo. Gets it across here to Luke Ball. Ball's kicked into the pocket now. If he can use the body, just couldn't quite get back Brown. This allows Western Australia through Parker to clean up, but unfortunately it's going to be over the line. Actually, I was just saying yesterday to the boys here in the broadcast box, some good footy that we saw down at Shell Stadium. We'll be back there later on in the week. Of course, congratulations go to the Northern Territory and also Tasmania, who might have caused a little bit of an upset yesterday. But we saw some good standard of football in or on day one of these Ansett Championships, these under-18 national championships. And of course, Division 1's their turn to display their talents today. Terry, no doubt there'll be talent scouts everywhere in the grandstands here. As we said yesterday, the pathway to perhaps a new future for them.
There is. There's in this particular game a lot of potential talent for the draft coming up later on this year in October, and every club would be here assessing this group of young players as they've come through the pathway.
Quick kick by Brown. Clancy almost kept it in, but unfortunately again it's over the boundary line. Talking good footy down there yesterday. I know it's past tense, but the game we saw last night interstate between Collingwood and Adelaide, I don't think it ever get a better game of footy. Mid-season it was a bottler, and the Magpies managing to hang on in a cliffhanger. No doubt you'd have been in bed tucked up. You wouldn't have seen any of it, would you? Silence is golden. Let's have a look what's happening out here at the MCG. Got a note, have you? Do you want to tell me about what you did last night? Here's our ruckman again. This is Seaby. Gets it across here to now. Is this
Chidsey?
Chidsey. Thank you very much. Now we're square. Okay. So Chidsey it is. And unfortunately across the line here for Harvey, unable to keep it in. Now this fella here looks a little bit like the Harvey of North Melbourne. Am I right or wrong?
You are right, yes. The younger brother of Brent, who played his 100th game yesterday up in Canberra for the North Melbourne Kangaroos, and his young Shane now coming through the system. Very identical. Plays the game exactly the same. Very busy around the packs.
Ryan Brown it was trying to get the tap away, was not effective though. This fella here's had a few touches. Carazzo, like the way he moves at the moment, and delivers the ball quite well, just outside the 50.
Tyson Heinrich, a very busy player, more often than not with good quick hands, but here's his chance to kick.
Heinrich, prepared to put it in short, and here's the little fellow we were talking about beforehand, Harvey. Young Shane. It's one of those cheeky types, doesn't he, Harvey? There's a good grab. This is Chris Judd, the captain of the Victoria Metropolitan side. And probably had the drop on his West Australian opponent because the ball was just coming over the top of him, and you could see him get prepared to put the body just underneath him. Didn't have to because the ball was carried and it stuck to the end of the fingers. So Chris Judd, Sandringham, Caulfield Grammar. Boy is about to add goal number 2 onto the scoreboard. Hits the post, which is pretty hard to do.
Yeah, well, Chris Judd is the captain of the squad, and I think that's a very good assessment of where he's at in terms of leadership. in his development. Chris has been within the AIS AFL Academy out at Caulfield Grammar. He's a leading student out there and has been with the Sandringham Dragons program now for some 3 years. And so to rise to this pinnacle is an assessment of he is a very fine talent to be watched.
They're going to again look for the big fellow out there in Seaby, who will certainly be well under a lot of pressure from the Victorian boys. They know he's a go-to already. Good tackle. Loose ball. Now looked for the handball, Agostino, and decided to kick the ball. This might be Hales that comes through. His kick's not too bad to Armstrong. Armstrong on centre wing will put it in short. There's a couple of West Australians here. If they can talk, they can get out of trouble. This is Woods. Now he wants to get back quickly. He was about to put it into the centre. The option's still there for him, but he's decided to go a little bit more direct on this occasion. Down to a pack of players. It's punched wide. Powers at the fall of the ball. And unfortunately for West Australia, it comes off the boot of Andrew Brown. Not on the full, but it's still in their attacking 50.
Yeah, Lindsay Woods just need to move that ball on a little quicker. He got caught in some indecision going into the 50. He's not deciding whether he can kick the goal or not. He's too far out for that, and just needed then to be quicker in being able to give his forwards the opportunity.
Good tackle. It was hot property of the football. The Victorian dropped it. Good tackle by the West Australian. Mark's going to be paid here in front. You'll have to go back and kick over your mark, young fellow, because I don't think the umpire will fall for that trick. And this is Jordan Barham. Another name, well, we've become pretty familiar with as far as VFL or AFL footy is concerned.
Yes, so a nephew of.
There's a good grab here.
Look, he's been very good, I think. Quinton Lynch, he's already had some 3 or 4 disposals. He's been strong and aggressive at centre half back, and under some real pressure, that was a very good mark. Good
cut of a young man too, just having a look at him. That's a good grab. That's a real good grab from young Adam Jones. There's not a lot of him, well, there doesn't seem a lot of him, at 176 centimetres. After our discussion yesterday, Terry, they do look a bit smaller from up in our position here. This little bloke's had a couple of touches. Woods too, from Perth. Lindsay Woods at 173, so these are the small brigade. Interesting to note that perhaps Woods and Roden could be on one another down there. Little fella you mentioned before. He's a solid defender. Now they can run this football out of the centre. Quick kick here from Sakira. The bouncing football favours the West Australians. It favours Rapacoli. He can't get back quite quick enough. Now he has another chance. It's going to beat him over the line. Yes, it will.
No, she's still alive.
It is still alive.
Yeah,
I looked out the other way too.
Rapacoli really slowed down and became a little bit lackadaisical in his work then.
Well, Thornton it is now who has put the ball across here, and we see the mark being taken in the back pocket. A little one though, a little bit dangerous, but managing to get out of trouble. This is Tuck again, who's doing a little bit of work in the defence or in the back line at the moment. Hooker.
Well, that's always good to see an on-baller who's prepared to get back, help his defenders, and then bring the ball forward.
Hooker's kick has been, well, there's a good smother, good desperation. West Australia looked like they were just going to lumber out of that back of the square. And a bit of pressure put on the Victorians. Playing good tight footy at the moment. Adrian, or Aidan Parker was, might have taken things just a little bit easy. So a bounce down at the back of the square towards the Victorian goal. And the Victorians over the top of the footy in front, can't pick it up. I think it might have been Riley back through again. Here's this player, looks like it was it no, not Roden, number 5, which is Carazzo again. This kick's a good one. Well, good to the point of view it's found Brown, and Brown will kick at about 56, 57 metres. We're too far out to score. He'll go for the shorts. The lead's on right into the square. There'll be a free kick coming out of this. The young Victorian just got pushed fair and square in the middle of the back. And just having a look there might have been Nick Chidsey, as if to say, what happened there? Well, Nick, the picture tells the story. Unfortunately, he got caught. This is Shane Harvey with a chance now to add goal number 2.
It's a tough one, isn't it? So Chids obviously has the job on Shane Harvey here to cut him down and to quell him because he's such a dangerous man around goals. But just to give away that free kick was a critical one.
A little bit closer to goal now for Harvey. Kicks from 30 metres. He's running back to the centre. He likes it. The goal umpire hasn't moved too far off centre. He does too as well. And Harvey gets his first. So the Victorians add their second goal. And they move on to 2-2. West Australia yet to open their account. They've had plenty of chances. The other goal kicker, of course, young Andrew Tuck.
Yeah, Western Australia have got it up there enough. Look, I think it's been a good settling period for WA. They haven't been blown out of the water by a 4 or 5 goal early burst from Vic Metro. The conditions are the greatest challenge that the WA boys have. They don't get these slippery and greasy stuff over in Perth all that often, so this is a tough one for them. If they can weather the early first half storm and be right in touch, I think they'll be well placed to go on with it.
Crashing through might have been Gardner, I think it was. The loose football out on centre wing, southern side here of the MCG. A race in two here. It is Victoria versus Western Australia. Clever kick here by the young West Australian. He thought, well, there's only one way to get the ball moving forward, and that's kick it along the ground. They break through the pack here. Thornton, you're about to tell me something?
Yeah, there's never a race in two when it's Ashley Sampi, the Western Australian boy. He will always win it. There's no doubt about it at all.
Okay, you've one up on me there, Terry. We'll keep an eye on him because by the sound of it, he's got a bit of speed. Here's West Australia going one way back, the other. Hales didn't know where to give it. Quick hands here from Chidsey again. Chidsey gets it off to his teammate here. It looked like Parker again. Now Parker's underground kick finds Sakira. Sakira's kick's not too bad into Clancy, and Clancy marks right at the edge of the square. Now looking to try and get their first score here. The kick, is it going to hold up? I thought it was just going to carry over the back of his leading forward there, but he's managed to find it, Polak. And this is Graham Polak from East Fremantle.
And he's the key to this WA forward line, Graham Polak. He has really shown that he's a quality player. He's going to be looked at in the top 2, 3, 4
Sure.
in the draft coming up. And so to be a centre-half forward like this, he becomes an important kick.
Well, we'll see what sort of a kick he is. That doesn't look too bad, actually. Goal umpire just about to signal all clear. And for Graham Polak, the East Fremantle player, at 192 centimetres and 83 kilograms, so he's got a little bit of building up to do as far as the weight's concerned, but he's got plenty of height on his side, Terry.
Yeah, he has, and that's the initial piece they need. As we spoke yesterday, AFL clubs will always look after the development of the player in terms of team plays and what each club requires, and then also that additional physical development. What's important at this talented player pathway level is just to have them be sound physically, medically fit and able so that they can be built upon during the next period.
Crow, big thump out of the centre for the victory. Oh, look at the way this was sharked off the top by Heinrich, and Heinrich blazes away though, and I think it's going to carry through for a behind. No, out on the full. But gee, that was good football. Good tap, a little bit physical in the centre here, boys, too. And as we saw yesterday, the umpires just let them carry on and just started moving play straight away, and that was the best thing that they could have done. Gee, there's a bit of niggle out there.
Well, a lot of these boys have played more senior football than second division. There's a number of the WA boys are playing actual waffle football with Perth itself, and at senior level, so they know a little bit more about the physical nature of the game.
That was good football by Heinrich out of the centre. Here's Harvey again. Gee, we won't miss him. He's going to be in everything like pepper and salt, actually, little Harvey. Gets it moving just in towards the 50-metre mark, but bounces incorrectly for them. They'll get out of trouble here. Chidsey it is, tries to get it out to teammate Hales. It's indirect. And Hales with that right knee bandaged. Unfortunately, has watched it go over the boundary line. So it's just outside attacking 50 for the Victorian Metro side, about 55 metres from their goal. And they'll be looking to try and get another one on the board. They lead at the moment with 16.5 minutes gone of the first quarter, 2-2-14 to one straight goal. Not much in it. Kicks high. That's a gutsy little mark, actually. Riley going back with the flight of the ball. You wouldn't know what was coming at you from the other side. He kept his eyes on the ball and focused. Toe poke along the ground. West Australia to it first, over the top of it with possession. Break clear towards centre wing. Oh, one of the marks of the day so far. This went to Crow. He went up, got up before acceptance, and managed to stick in the left hand.
Well, it's something he likes doing, and if you are able to do it as Rod is, why not have a go at it? So a very good early effort. Sandringham
Mentone Grammar Boy puts it in towards half forward. Here we see the same play again from Heinrich. Swoops on the foot. He couldn't take it with him. Good grab by the West Australian to nullify him. Gets a chance here for number 2 here. Paddles it forward. They're playing in front, but they just can't get the ball up at the moment. Guttison it was who couldn't get over the top of the footy and get clean possession of it as well.
Very quick Tyson Heinrich, isn't he?
He's done that 2 or 3 times so far today.
And it's all well been quick, but you've also then got to be able to read the ball, and he's showing today that he has got that ability to mix both of those. As we spoke, that take out of the centre bounce just a few moments ago was very well read off the hands of the contest.
Interesting at the moment, perhaps the ball not bouncing quite clean enough, perhaps just with a little bit of a dewy surface at the moment. The Victorians have worked that out pretty quickly. They're in front, and well, if it doesn't bounce, then at least they're blocking it and moving it forward. So the ball is right in their attacking zone. It's about 20 metres out from goal, the Victorian Metropolitan side. They're leading 2-2 to one straight goal from the West Australians. That was a quick handball, did get out of trouble. Chidsey again, he's had a couple of touches, this time across to Clancy. Clancy from half back, looking up towards centre wing. Underneath the footy was Parker. Fall of the ball might have been Armstrong. Gets a boot to ball, left boot. Now this is quickly picked up here by Thornton. Smothered. Chance here for Judd. Now back again to his teammate in Thornton, who gets a handball out. Umpires put a whistle on play here. It'll go Victoria's way. But I think you might find this could be Thornton with the free kick. It will be too. So Brett Thornton, the Oakley Mount Waverley Blues youngster, ends up with a free kick. And the Victorians, they're finding a loose hole. They're dropping into that hole. This time it's Hooker. This is about possession number 3 for him. Hooker's kick over the back. Here's the speedster, Heinrich again. Good tackle put on him by Chitsey. He realises straight away that he's going to be a danger player for the day. Puts pressure on the Victorians, and of course that kick off line and through from behind.
So Nick Chitsey's going to have his work cut out. He's got Harvey.
Could be a good battle. This could be worth watching.
And Heinrich being the 2 rovers changing on him in the back pocket. So there used to be times when you'd get a bit of a breather because there was a lesser player coming into a forward pocket, but this day and age there certainly is at both.
Well, he's on his own in the pocket at the moment, Chitsey, and he's ignored him at the moment. Had a bit of a look at him and has decided, well, I will go to him finally. Oh, that's out on the full. Gee, that's stiff. So there were no options, but, well, the good screen by the Victorians has forced that.
Put the pressure right on them, didn't it? And, you know, I think it was Dan Hunt's kick in. He was just not sure what to do. Chitsey had presented himself well, but it was just a little bit off balance when he made the kick.
Here's young Tuck. And the Victorians set it up well. Luke Ball found position at about 45 metres on his own. While they were looking at perhaps some of the other bigger players in there. Crow was in there around about centre half forward. This little fellow here in Ball, I say little, at, what's he, about 183 centimetres. Now we have a good close look at him. And
what we'll see Luke Ball and Andrew Tuck be the prolific ball winners throughout this day, and already one of the work inside of the ground.
So Luke Ball leans back on the football, and unfortunately I think it'll go to the right of the goalpost and through for another behind. So the Victorians with plenty of chances. They move on to 2-4-16. One straight goal, Western Australia.
There's no doubt that that's the technique flaw in a lot of the boys at the moment. In their kicks at goal, they lean back and they're not moving their momentum forward directly towards the target in order to hit, in the golf parlance, a 3-iron rather than an 8 or a 9. They're just trying to chip it in, which isn't the way to go about it.
It's funny, we refer to that golf parlance a lot, don't we? I think I did yesterday, actually. But we're either frustrated golfers or we just weren't good kicks of the footy, one or the other. Okay, play underway again, heading down towards the time-on period very, very shortly. West Australia still within touch, even though the Victorians have been doing all the attacking. This little fella here, Chitsey, this is about possession number 5 or 6 for him. We'll have a look at the stats, perhaps around about half-time, and get us a bit of a guide as to how some of these players are going. Off the boot here of Parker. It's been a busy player. This is Agostino, puts a bit of pressure on him, picked up and chipped in here by Brown for Victoria. Brown into an open goal square. Will it bounce kindly? It goes to the right-hand side of the goalpost. So an open goal square for the Victorian Metro side. Nobody at home. Well, the right decision to get play moving quickly and just hope that the ball bounced kindly for him.
Yeah, we've spoken about the conditions, the greasiness of the conditions, the WA boys having to fly over. They've been here a couple of days, so they're well adjusted to it. But I'm concerned, I think Vic Metro might be wasting early opportunities, because the longer the game goes, and if WA can stay close to them, I think WA will get stronger.
Well, the conditions will suit them a little bit better too, won't it?
It will, yes, or these disadvantaged conditions will start to eliminate themselves.
Ball again, busy player. Looking here for Harvey. He's amongst some tall timber up there and just got caught underneath the flight of the ball. 2-on-1, and was always going to be in trouble to try and win that footy in that contest. So a little bit closer to their goal. They're about 20 metres around. Boundary throw in. And let's have a look and see what happens out of this. The two 19s together here doing the ruck work was Parry and also Brown. And again, we'll find it over the boundary line. It's interesting yesterday, the opposite numbers. I think it was 21. We're in battle a lot in the ruck. And here we see the two 19s at it. The 19s for Western Australia win that contest, and that was Parry. Not real decisive, but he did get first hands on the ball. Chitsey over the top of it, get a little toe poke, went nowhere. Over the top of the footy is Gardner for the Victorian side, scooped it out. Okay, they've got a chance to get away from half-back now, or would have to pay the endeavour if nothing else, and that was Clancy it was, who was underneath, got one in the knees, or got knees in the back, but he's okay. Quick move down here to Sareka, and this fellow here, or Sakirka actually, you can tell me which way that goes in a moment or two, but Sakirka's kicks a good one and finds Agostino. Agostino just outside 50, should get it moving quickly because there's two West Australians on their own at centre half forward. They've got a raffle to between them. Brown's the player, and in actual fact, Brown will take this mark right out in front of goal, and he's about 45 metres, pulls the socks up as the siren goes, and they'll get within 5 points if he can kick truly.
Well, I think he can do it. He has a very good technique, Andrew. Looks well balanced on this approach.
So it comes in and has a shot at goal from 45 metres directly in front. That's what the West Australians want, and that's a good lift for them. As we have a look at the score, 2-5-17, the Victorian Metro. West Australia, 2 straight goals, a goal right on the siren. Interesting first quarter. Welcome back as we're about to start the second quarter here at the MCG. Having a look at some of the better possession getters as the siren goes to start this second quarter. Terry, let's have a look at some of the stats from this first quarter.
I think the significant part was just the amount of football that Vic Metro were getting. They had some 71 disposals compared to WA just 45. For the WA boys, there's 5 who had 5 disposals. That's been Chidsey, Quinton Lynch at centre-half back, and Aidan Parker. So no, it's only 3 who've had 5. But then for the Vic Metro, there's a heap of boys getting the football. Carrazzo with his 9, Luke Ball with 11, Heinrich with 6, Gardner with 8, and then Andrew Tuck with 7. So their key players really getting hold of the football for Vic Metro.
Gardner probably been what I would think has probably been a little bit more, not so much more constructive, but I don't think he's been a prolific kick winner, but he's been more a creative type of player, Gardner, for the Victoria Metro side. How many kicks?
Well, you can see, yeah, you're right. With the split, he's had 2 kicks and 6 handballs for his 8 disposals. So he is looking to create, and that's where the balance then comes in with the kickers. And the kickers have been Carrazzo, have been Tuck. They're the boys who are behind the ball, running forward.
This is Ashley Sampi with the ball here for Western Australia. Gets it up onto centre wing, and of course they'll now kick to the Melbourne end goal. Over the top of the footy, there's Judd. Can't bring the ball up to get clean possession of it. And it's dribbled across the boundary line right in front of the members stand here at the MCG. So the boys to do the ruck work here. An entertaining first quarter. Victoria Metro, as we heard Terry Wheeler say beforehand, virtually not so much dominated but controlled the quarter, yet still only lead by 5 points with a little bit of indirect kicking, diving forward. They're trying to get the ball onto his chest. Might have been Finnan, it was too, I think, yes. Cleared nicely by Rutherford. Gets it out wide. Clancy it is. Will run up on the wing. Comes back. Centres it towards centre-half forward. Good use of the body by the young Victorian there. But unfortunately, he's brought it undone by putting his teammate under a lot of pressure and power with a handball. And they might be lucky to get away with a free kick out of this. And I think the kick will go here to Thornton.
Yeah, Chris Judd just needed to get back and be a bit cleaner. That was a better piece of work from Thornton. He got well off the mark, and so his handball was a constructive one, whereas Juddy's was under a little bit more pressure.
I think it might have been young Sam Power, unfortunately, who brought that undone. Let's have a look here. This is Riley. Riley's kick, well, there's a little nudge out, but the umpire said, look, it was pretty legitimate. I'm not going to argue. He's got the whistle. Nice kick. Finds Brown. Brown will swing onto the left boot. A couple of West Australian players here on their own. They can take off here. Clancy it is. Drives it in towards centre-half forward. Use of the body again. I thought it might have been Repacholi, is it?
No, it's Polak
it's not.
again.
It's Polak again. Okay. And I can just see Repacholi there giving him a bit of a pat on the back as if to say, well done. Little bit of a nudge out, but, well, we're seeing a lot of that creeping into footy now. If you can get away with it, good and well.
Well, that's right. I mean, that's part of the learning the art of the game, isn't it? Inside the contest, to be able to manoeuvre your body, 1, to get in the right position to receive the ball, but 2, to then be able to take your opponent out as a threat for the mark.
All right, let's see how accurate a kick he is. Comes in for goal. And this is Polak's kick straight through the centre. I tell you what, I like the way he leant back on that, Terry, with a straight leg and went straight through. So a good, that's his second, actually. So a good example for youngsters watching on how to kick a footy.
That's right. Well, Graham's gone and made his debut with West Perth, I think so, West Perth and the Waffle. And even just in game 2, some 2 weeks ago, kicked 6 goals at senior level over there. So, yeah, so he certainly knows the caper, and to be playing there as centre-half forward on the MCG, it really gives him the room to move and to be able to display his talents and his skills.
All right, so umpire with the ball back in the centre of the ground here. And, well, for some of these young fellows who've probably played on the MCG before from the Victorian side, the West Australians, gee, there's a little bit of skills there. Sampi was blocked. Stuck it under one arm. We saw him bring it up high and he was about to take off, but the pressure has seen it stay in the centre of the ground.
Umpire Luke Farmer from Western Australia, one of the 3 out in the central field umpire positions today.
Just having a look at Heinrich there, keeping his player within arm's distance. Again, big tap down by Seaby. This allows Victorian Metropolitan to head towards their goal square. Now let's see whether they can answer. Armstrong it is, pushes the ball back wide. Cross half-back flank, West Australia. Don't know so much about the kick, but it's found its mark. This is Sampi, who put the lead on and only travelled about 25 minutes. Now Sampi's kicked a position. If it bounces kindly, West Australia with a bit of a chance. The thought was good. Unfortunately, I think for Beckvold, is it? No, it's not. It might be Chidsey. Had to go further back because the pressure being applied. Agostino gets it back. Goes one way. Here we see this Sampi again. He loves to sort of put the ball up in one arm. Chidsey it is with a second possession in about 20 metres. Metro under a bit of pressure. They'll swing this ball right across. Dangerous footy, and it's come unstuck. Now, West Australia should probably block it in here. Welsh it is, who defends pretty well. Bouncing football doesn't favour Jones for West Australia. Now he can get a handball. They'll need to just push it out a little bit wider here and get a kick on. Armstrong it was. Oh, there's a good grab. Diving mark to Brown. And while it looked a little bit frustrating and untidy, they only needed just a break to go their way.
Well, I think that was just wonderful defence by the Western Australian forward line. The way in which they chased and harassed. Luke Ball was the Vic Metro player on this side who switched the play towards the to the Western Australian goal, and the play was probably on, but it was just the intensity of the Western Australian forwards who harassed. Pollock did a tackle, Jones was in there, and now this take by Brown was a very good mark. Should have the confidence after kicking that last goal.
Andrew Brown, I tell you, it's not a bad try. I reckon that's nearly there. Let's have a look. Goal umpire signals all clear, and Andrew Brown adds his second goal for the game. So, well, only two goal kickers for the West Australian side, and both boys two apiece. That's Andrew Brown from Claremont and Graham Pollock from East Fremantle. So West Australia have started this second quarter pretty well.
They have. We don't get an update on the statistics, but you'd suggest now the weight of possessions is with Western Australia in these first few minutes of this second quarter. They've gathering. Sampi starting to get a bit of the football. Chidsey has continued on winning football. So the signs are good here for the WA side.
Doing well in the ruck. The Victorians getting the better of it on that occasion. It was Crow. Bouncing football, travelled 20 metres towards West Australia. This little fella's getting plenty of it at the moment. Sampi gets it out wide. They go from 45 metres. Now the kick's good, but there's a whistle on play here. Now is he allowed? I reckon he's allowed the benefit of the doubt there, and I think Clancy's ended up kicking this. So Craig Clancy has ended up getting a goal here for Western Australia, and they are really starting to dominate this second quarter.
Well, this is where the scoreboard starts to look shaky, and perhaps the price is paid for inaccuracy in the first quarter by Vic Metro. It's 2 goals 5 to 5 goals straight. And the interesting part is that I think the confidence of the Western Australian boys is growing in that they are now able to kick the goals from on 50, the last one was, and then the previous one from Andrew Brown was some 45 metres out from goal. Their confidence is certainly lifting.
Okay, we've travelled 7.5 minutes of this second quarter. Different ball game here, and I tell you what, it's all been brought about by this young fellow Sampi, who's getting plenty of the footy out of the centre at the moment. Trying to come through there is Jones, but the footy will come back towards Victoria here, and the free kick will go their way. The person to have it is Sam Power. Power it is, left foot. Now he's got a player on his own out here on centre wing, and has found him the kicks to perfection to Kelly. Right foot in towards centre half forward. Nice type of kick too. Where are the high flyers? They're there. Good grab. Is this Welsh? It is too. He wants to get it moving pretty quickly too. Welsh delivers it. Nice low trajectory. Unfortunately, it just was too high above his leading forward. Bursting through the pack there. I think it might have been Heinrich again. Ball comes to ground. Ball over the top of it. Can't get it up now. He does. Here's a call out the back. There's two players here that can raffle it. Probably not the best option. Hooker it is. Lines up from 50. Blazes away right into the square and it's offline. So I think there might have been a couple of voices out there. And the option probably wasn't the best, but they've scored. So the ball's in their attacking zone.
And this is where they need now to zone up and really work to hold the ball in here. Western Australia will break and try and come straight down through centre half forward where Pollock's starting to dominate. But this is an important piece here for Vic Metro to hold the play up.
Aiden Parker gets it in here to Chidsey. Good grab, Armstrong. Got plenty of attention from his opposite number 17 in Riley. And he'll drive towards centre wing. Going the big punch there was Crow. Ineffective, but it falls well for Power. Power quick hands across here to Tuck. Tuck gets it back. Here's the little fella Harvey. Goes one way, back the other, delivers the ball beautifully into the towards half forward with the left foot. Precision to ball. Now ball can deliver it short again as Harvey runs down. This is good football. Deep into the pocket, but he just kept on running, Terry, and opened up that option.
They're the three main midfield runners that Vic Metro have got, Harvey, Ball and Tuck. And when they're getting the football and running, the Metro side looks so much better.
Right foot kicks on its way, just almost what you call a leg break. Goes back the opposite way. And unfortunately, a behind. Normally they'll swing in, won't they? It's almost an a la Terry Wheeler style. Just
Is this golf parlance again?
Well, whatever you like. I thought it was cricket, a leg break, wasn't it? do you hit leg breaks, do you? So Victoria have it down there in their forward zone. They're looking to, if you have a look here, 9 scoring shots to 5, and they're trailing on the scoreboard by some 11 points at the moment. West Australia have had a good start to this second quarter. And they're finding the gaps. Clancy found a hole. They found Clancy. This player here's found one in Hales. And the ball's only travelled about 30 metres from fullback, but they have possession of it. Hales, options being shut down for him now. Pushes it out wide, southern side. Now, the Victorian player was held with the footy, made a good effort to at least get hands onto the footy. Brown it is, young Ryan Brown drives it in towards centre half forward, coming out, strong mark. Quentin Lynch. Lynch it is. From centre half back, stands and delivers. Oh, straight over the top, looked like Sakira again. Or Sakirka. Having trouble with him today. Sorry, young fellow. This is Andrew Brown. Andrew Brown's underground kick. He was looking for his forward coming out. Little play here in Roden for Victoria. Defends well, clears it out here, looking for Riley.
We've got the break here now.
They have to. Now they've got to run towards the pocket. Riley looking down here, and he's found his target. Oh, didn't quite hang on to it. It was a good effort, though. That came from Finnan. He gets another chance at it. Comes
well
around.
worked.
Yeah, it was. He finds a play here right at centre half forward, and that was Kelly. And Kelly stands and delivers, looking for his forward down there. He was about to put one over the top of the shoulder there in Gutterson. It wouldn't come. Let's have a look and see what's happening with this kick. I think that might be offline as well too. Actually, was a good attempt of Gutterson's. I thought this one's going to go straight over the left shoulder here, backwards. But the harassment of Western Australia has seen only one behind result. Chidsey to bring the ball back into play again. Nick Chidsey from East Fremantle at 173 centimetres, medium-sized player. And we said this fella might have been a bit of a go-to earlier on. Seaby it is, the big ruckman, who marks and gets it moving quickly up here to Sakirka. Sakirka's quick hands off to Lang. And unfortunately, the bouncing football is going to force a turnover. Well, not so much a turnover, but the ball is going to be pushed over the boundary line. The good pressure being put on there by Welsh from the Victorian Metropolitan side.
Yeah, disappointing there from Cade Lang. He had the opportunity to kick better than that. WA had cleared the ball well from the initial kick from Chidsey at fullback. It's now to be up in the half forward. Lang is a good spot to be, but we didn't want a boundary throw in as a result of the poor kick. Well, that's got to be called.
Well, when your other arm's held, I suppose it's a bit hard, isn't it? But got sprung. Crow it is with the football for Victoria. And Crow's kick, not a good one. Oh, managed to keep it in. That's Ball. Good skills. Gets the call here from his teammate. And that, of course, I think was Ferrero. Not Ferrero, I should say Heinrich. And he goes one way, back the other. Got some nice skills, Heinrich. A lovely balanced type of player. His kick's not effective, though. It goes straight to the waiting arms of Parker. Now, Parker's getting plenty of calls from teammates out here. His kick's well weighted. And this player here looks like Jones, is it? Jones, maybe, on centre wing. Far side of the ground from us here at the moment. This is Woods, leads in the race for the ball. Quick legs, gets a call further back, and it might be Jones again, who stands and delivers. Jones's kick's not too bad. Underneath it was Sakirka, and unfortunately, again, we're going to see the ball just beat Andrew Brown over the boundary line. Brown, of course, with 2 goals so far. Recapping, Pollack with 2, Brown with 2, and Clancy with 1. On the other side of the ledger, for Victoria, we only have 2 goal kickers. There's Harvey and Tuck.
It's interesting there that we both had to check the score sheet to see that there was only 2.
I did actually.
Yeah, I did too, because just the amount of football that Metro have had, they should have been able to convert and have more score on the board than what they've got with just the 2 goals. 2 goals, 8 is a lot of football. They surely should be returning better than that.
All right, let's see whether they can utilise this at the moment. Being kept in by the West Australians. As we said before, they're having a good quarter. That's a good tackle put on the Victorians. Oh, good weight of the body, good use of the body. Brown caught one pretty high, though, for Western Australia. And the umpire is going to bring this football in because it's gone over the boundary line. Do the ruck work there is Justin Crowe. His opposite number there is Seaby. The two boys doing the ruck work. Been a good contest. Seaby, quite impressive. Mile driven into the ground. Might have been Kelly there for the Victorian side. In fact, he's going to get a free kick. The umpire... no, it's not. It's going to be Heinrich. And the umpire just about sliding on his derriere. So that does tell us that things are still a little bit greasy out there. So these young fellas are doing pretty well. The standard's been good, Terry. You'd be happy with this.
Yeah, very much so. It's been a good standard game. And the low cloud just starting to burn off here at the MCG. So I don't think it'll be too long. The second half, we should have good sunshine.
All right, the bouncing football trying to be captured here by Barham. And now the whistle's gone on play here. Parker it was who was trying to come away with the footy. But the umpire's going to put it into the turf. 30 metres around from the goal line here. And we're just starting to have a look at some of these players try and not become creative, but get into the hole and become loose. This is little Harvey again, was it? And gee, that would have been a sensational goal because he just really didn't get clean possession of it. Terry came back with a second touch and straight boot the ball.
Well, that's one of the things you see about Shane Harvey is that he actually makes chances out of half chances. And that one, there really was nothing there, but it rebounded back into him and very quickly onto the foot.
All right, the mark here to Sakirka. Scott Sakirka from Perth at 172 centimetres. Holy jolly, I thought that was getting up a little bit too high. Riley it was for Victoria, had a huge climb. But unfortunately the ball didn't stick. Got a bit of a ride on his teammate there in Luke Ball, and there was a couple of West Australians sandwiched in, so that would have been, if that would have stuck, that would have nearly claimed the mark of the series so far. We've seen a couple of good ones down at Shell Stadium yesterday, and the endeavour there was pretty good. Heinrich trying to run with the ball. Victoria getting in towards their goal square again, just offline. I'll tell you what, he's creative, Heinrich, isn't he? He's got a little bit of the footy smarts we were talking about yesterday, weren't we?
Yeah, and that sheer pace. And when you've got the pace like that, you can actually influence the game by breaking up a congestion area and flowing the ball on forward. So one of the real attributes of Tyson Heinrich is
Parker
his pace.
could be the go-to out here again. Did make good position to the football. Pressure applied. This is Ablett. This is... here we should have been talking about Cousins before. This was Tuck, who got the ball in here to Crowe. We'll see Ablett a little bit later on. And delivered lace out to Heinrich. Now he's right on 50. Heinrich goes short. The lead's on. And it's not a bad one. Just couldn't quite grab the ball there was Brown. Still have another chance. Good. Now that is a sensational mark to Parker. He knew that they were going to come from behind. He put the big long paw up at Stark and caught one on the back for his troubles as well too. So Parker's impressed me. Good effort on that occasion. Delivers it well too. And when they can finish it off, Terry, it's all very well to be able to take marks and do all sorts of things like this, but they're away. Armstrong it was, delivers it in towards the square, and they'll score out of this. Lindsay Woods it was. Yeah, it's all very well to get the footy and look good, but it's what you do with it after.
No doubt about that, and the ability to be able to link in with your teammates in terms of the team patterns and the team plays, and just the way Western Australia moved that ball down there through Armstrong and now with young Lindsay Woods was very good style of football.
I thought Woods had got one earlier, but he had a shot on goal earlier on, but this one's much, much better. This is true, Lindsay Woods. So he becomes their sixth, well, not goal kicker, but he becomes West Australia's sixth goal, and he becomes their fourth goal kicker. So Woods with his first.
And so we're starting to see now where the Western Australian side are potentially able to get their goals from. We're seeing all their players stand up in that forward line area, whereas for Vic Metro, really struggling, other than Shane Harvey, no one else has really shown to me that they've got the potential to be able to put some score on the board for this side just yet.
Yet again, as we said before, they've had the footy, they've had the players that not so much have dominated, but have had plenty of it, and they're not scoring. Yesterday, we saw, of course, a little bit of a turn-up with last year's grand finalist New South Wales ACT going down. And here we see a grand finalist from Division 1 last year, Victoria Metro, struggling against the West Australians. Well, the Victorians aren't struggling getting clearance out of the centre at the moment. Good ball delivered. and delivered pretty well straight down the throat here of Gutterson again.
Well, Luke Ball, he's the one gathering the football for them, and that was a very good left foot kick under, stepping out of some traffic. Gutterson, as we mentioned earlier, is a good leading player, but for Vic Metro now to start to close this gap, you know, Gutterson's got to finish the day with 4 or 5 goals as their full forward.
Let's see what Gutterson can do here. Going for his first goal. Looks good enough. So, Brent Gutterson with his first goal. And when we look at the scoreboard, it doesn't tell us the story that perhaps the Victoria Metro supporters would like, when we've got 9, 10, 11 scoring shots to 6, and they're trailing 36-27.
But there again, it's just the 9 points, isn't it? So in terms of the quarter, we've hit time on over the 20-minute mark now.
Yeah, because my maths, that's 12 scoring shots, isn't it?
Well, I don't know whoever taught you maths. I never went down to Colac High, is it? Mrs. Brown, you've got a lot to answer for.
Okay, let's have a look back in the centre. And let's have a look at the time clock. 20.5 minutes gone of this second quarter. Been an entertaining game of footy so far. Victorian Metro just struggling a little bit against the West Australians. Adam Jones. Jones on centre wing, sees a lead on. They're in front, good position, onto the chest, couldn't grab it. Chance here for Lang, tries to get in underneath again. Victoria Metro mop it up, this time through Luke Ball. Ball quickly across to this little fellow here in Roden, I think it is. Roden's kick eludes the West Australians. Heinrich cleverly gets it up here to Kelly. Was a little bit of a tap on, almost a throw, but got away with it. West Australia's defence standing pretty tall. Hales it is, who bombs it up in towards the attacking zone again. Over the top of the footy, picking it up is Sakirka. Back here to Woods. Woods goes one way back, the other looks for the option. And now that certainly wasn't greedy football, because they actually had to spend a bit more territory, or spend a bit more time to get further territory. And Lang was the player who came up from centre wing to take the mark. Outside 50, too far to score. So he'll need to be looking for a short somewhere. And I reckon there's one on.
I think his better option's Polak towards the square. He's not going to reach him now.
Well, I think that was the best option, the way he went to go. Now it's 2-on-1 here. How will this bounce? Bounces well for Harvey. Captures it, pushes it out wide, gets it out here to Tuck. He doesn't waste any time. Blazes it away down here towards that half-forward line. 1-on-1. Football beats both players over the boundary line for Victoria. There was Ryan Brown. His opposite number there was Quentin Lynch. So Brown heads back towards the goal square, or half-forward. And the time clock might beat the Victorians here.
Yeah, this would be their last push, wouldn't it? They need to take a clean ball away from this boundary throw-in, so over the back, look to get some runners going. But it's not to
Victoria. It was Jordan Barham, I think, trying to do the ruck work, but just headed straight for the boundary line. I think perhaps the West Australian might have got first touch of it as well, too, in Aiden Parker, thinking, well, I can see the time clock here at the MCG. I know where we're heading. Let's see which way the boys go again. Used the body well, but sharked by the Victorians. That was cleverly tapped on there. I think the Victorian player knew he was under a bit of pressure and just kept it going forward. This time it's Brian Brown again on the ground. There's Harvey doing exactly the same thing, tapping it forward. What can they do with this? This could be their last foray, as Terry Wheeler said before. 17 picks it up and has a shot at goal. Brent Riley. Unfortunately, it's offline. 22.5, nearly 23 minutes gone of the second quarter.
They just keep getting squeezed by the Western Australian defence, don't they?
It's good defence too.
It is. They're quite prepared to attack the ball and attack the man that's got the ball rather than zoning off. They've been very aggressive. Nick Chitsey, yep.
What'll he do here?
Well, he's given the big wave.
Well, I'm just having a look. There's the huddle. They've split.
It's a lot closer in this time, the huddle.
Yep. They've split, and he's found the shorts.
So there's been 2 huddle setups for WA. One's been outside of the 50-metre arc and another one inside. This latter one was the one inside. So, and you'd think they're just going to look to hold possession of the football here. Don't give it off until there's absolute target. So here's a second one across here now.
Clancy to Brown, Brown to Clancy. They're looking to build their stats up, I think, these two. Good grab. Lynch, was it? Yes. Quentin Lynch from West Perth. Stood his ground. Didn't get off the ground too far, but was a good, strong, solid mark. Okay, well, nicely done. Chris Judd spins, uses the body well, but unfortunately, it's fallen straight to the arms of Chitz. He's been just a little bit quiet this quarter. Started the first quarter off in fine form, but still being constructive at the same token. Daniel Hunt. Hunt's kick's okay. Finds teammate here in Jones. He's had a few touches too. And Jones is content to chip it around short. Player taking the mark there. I reckon that's Parker. Parker is on centre wing. He's going to have a long bomb. No, he's not. I thought he was going to have a long bomb from centre wing. Now the umpire said, hang on, I'll get someone to stand on the mark just in case. Tell you, the kid's going to have a shot too, nothing else. And it falls about 35 metres short.
Well, his father, Charles, once unloaded something about 80 metres.
Oh, really?
Yes, so there's a little bit of pedigree there, and Charles will appreciate that comment. Aidan not quite up to the mark just yet.
All right, let's check this scoreboard before we leave you at half-time here at the MCG, the game between Victoria and Metro and Western Australia. And Western Australia, 6 straight goals, 36, not bad kicking. From the West Australians' point of view, Victoria Metro 3:10:28 after half-time. Terry Wheeler will come back and we'll dissect the stat sheet and just see who some of the better players are. Welcome back. Second half about to begin here at the MCG between the Victoria Metro and West Australia, and great kicking from the West Australians, and 6 straight goals, 36 sees them lead Victoria Metro 3:10:28. Terry Wheeler joins us, as we said prior to the break. We'll have a look at the stat sheet and pick up perhaps who some of the better kick getters, and well, from the West Australian point of view, let's go with the those who are in front at the moment. Terry, who are their better players?
Well, I think the significant player in the early part of that second quarter was actually Sampi in the centre of the ground. He had half a dozen disposals very early, and that set the tone for the Western Australian side. Glancy in there with him, and Jones also very prolific.
I'll tell you what, they're off out of the blocks pretty quickly here again, blazing away as Sakirka, and was assisted out of there by Armstrong, I think it might have been, and they've opened up with a behind. So just having a look here at the Victorian Metro boys, I can't see any significant moves out there, and I'm just having a look perhaps from the point of view of the West Australians. And I had a look there before, not knowing a lot of the boys, and just having a look there before, the young fellow for West Australia who was warming up down here on the bench, for Victoria, Justin Crowe, whether or not he was going to be utilised off the bench a little bit. But
yeah, Justin will do some of the ruck work off that interchange bench. He's out there now, but that's a very good kick. There's Gutterson again, just that leading we spoke about. And if he does get the jump on his opponent and the kick spot on, his hands are very, very good. So good piece of play on both aspects there, the kicking to the right spot and the lead right out in front of goal here at centre half forward.
Okay, he has one goal to his credit so far, Gutterson. He'll need to keep truly here, get them right back in the ball game, even though there's been plenty of scoring shots. This one's true enough. That's what the Victorians need. 4-10. Move a little bit closer as we have a look at the scoring shots. 14 scoring shots to 7, and yet the difference is only 3 behind. So probably just a little bit lucky in some aspects, West Australia, to be in front, but by the same token, it's only the pressure that's been applied by them that's been inaccurate kicking for Victoria.
That's been a major contributing factor. I think the defence of Western Australia has been very good. Lynch back there, Chidsey in the pocket, and Aidan Parker at fullback. They've all been aggressive at the opponent and the ball and putting pressure on Vic Metro, but that's a very good start to this second half. Gutterson and Vic Metro.
Seaby it was who took it out of the ruck there for West Australia. Gee, he's been rucking well too. Good defence. This little fella here in David Roden, I tell you what, he's in everything. Good pressure applied here, and I tell you what, it's interesting to have a look at the West Australians. You picked up on it before, Terry. Their forward line is becoming, well, they're turning sort of attacking to defence very, very often against some of the Victorians down there.
Yeah, so good pressure there, and that was one of the changes. The player tackled was number 6 for Vic Metro, Campbell Brown, so he's come off the interchange bench for his first run for the day.
The kick heading towards
there he is
forward.
now.
Lays back on it, goes to the edge of the square. Both players using body on body there. Umpire said there wasn't too much in it. Quick hands there from Carazzo. Loose ball. This fellow here will burst through the pack here. His kick smothered Lynch. He's been a great contributor for West Australia. So is this fellow here in Sakirka. He's going to have a shot from goal from about 50 metres out. Let's see whether it carries. I don't think it will. It's going to hold up nicely. The Victorians strong in defence. The player here is Welsh. The call to West Meadows player finds his little teammate out here in Roden. And a lot to like about David Roden. Calder Oak Park is where he is domiciled on the footy ground. His kick's not too bad. Carries towards centre wing. Big Justin Crowe comes in. Grabs the possession of it. Carazzo been busy early. Good hands there from Riley. Back in towards the centre. This is Heinrich, who's been on the burst a couple of times so far in the first half. It's a good grab here by the West Australian player here in Jones. There's not much of this little fellow here, but he presents himself a lot.
He does. Very tenacious, attacks the ball. Perhaps hasn't got all that many tricks in his game, but just you could not ask a man to work any harder in a game than Adam Jones.
Armstrong, nice grab here. Terry gets it out wide here looking for Brown, and Brown created the loose passage or the loose player out here for him to kick to, and that was a nice passage of play. Brown sees the shorts in towards centre half forward, and that ball was delivered beautifully. Settle down, fellas. This was Repacholi. And Repacholi, as I said, presented himself. He made a lead up from about 20 metres out from goal and kept coming just to mark the ball inside 50. So he'll kick probably from about 52 metres. Just having a look at the man on the mark. It's Andrew Welsh, I think, for the Victorian team. As we have a look at Andrew Repacholi from Claremont. Right foot drop punt. I tell you what, there was a player up very, very high at the back, but the ball didn't...
Sampi, if you don't mind.
Didn't carry. This time it's Woods, spins around, has a shot at goal. Unfortunately, hit the post.
Well, just what wonderful Aboriginal talent we just see there. Ashley Sampi with the jump and the agility to get up above the pack, and then Lindsay Woods, very agile at ground level, cutting back around, and his shot hitting the post. I mean, you don't get any closer than that.
Victoria through Welsh into the pocket. Now, will they continue to come up this side here? Making good position here is Crow. Crow could take off, no one on the mark. Oh, got Collar. Gee, he made up some ground there, the West Australian boy. He deserved that. That was Brown. He gave him a start and got him and collared him. Great tackle. Brown can centre this. Cross here to Clancy. Clancy can open it up again. And I tell you what, they're running to space. Polak. Graham Polak with 2 goals already. Is he too far out to score?
Might be just a touch here. But Sampi's down there.
Settle down now and have a look.
And also big Mark Seeby.
He'll kick from 53 metres out, maybe 54. Let's have a look. Gets in close to the man on the mark. It's going to hold up into the square. It's just a little bit offline. Hands of West Australia were up there, but couldn't make a meal of it in Tristan Walker. He had first grab on it. And the Victorians have forced this around the boundary line, and it's over the line.
So big Tristan Walker getting his first run. It just shows the depth of the big men that WA have got in their squad.
Talking of big men, trying to steal it out of the ruck again. I tell you what, that was captured pretty well by Welsh. It was handballed out round about his knees, between knees and shin, and he had enough skill level to control it. Riley, it might be there for Victoria. Pushes it up here, over the top there of the little fellow there in Harvey. Loose football. A couple of West Australians have a chance to defend here. Chidsey it was. Little toe poke to the boundary line. Chidsey's good vision here to Lang. Now Lang can get it across here to Sakirka, who wants to take him on. Cop one a little bit high. Will he get the free kick? I think he will. Perhaps a little lucky. But was quite content to take him on.
Prior opportunity phase there, aren't you? Did he have a chance to get it off before the tackle? But the tackle needs to be much lower than that.
I'll tell you what, they're presenting well just outside 50, the West Australians. Tristan Walker has made position. Left foot kick. This is not a bad sort of a kick either. It's going to go right to the square. Little fellow, the fly at the back there was Roden. And he's still in there battling. He's recovered pretty well. Or, whoops, looking for the free kick there was Jones. And I tell you what, it was a little bit of a, not an Academy Award, but I think there might have been a little bit of acting there as well. And the umpire has said, look, there's enough there for you to get the free kick. And we'll find that Adam Jones from Subiaco will take the free kick right in front of goal.
So Adam plays most of his football across half-back and a strong running player. So down here in the forward line for a shot at goal, he'll kick this one, there's no doubt.
Well,
Adam, you let me down, my boy.
Well, as I said to you before, Terry, it is very hard to hit the post when you're playing footy. You can aim at that. I don't know how many times. I bet you won't get it. So, in hindsight, it's got to be a pretty good kick.
It's not bad.
Okay? We'll let him off the hook that time. It's fancy, wasn't the kid? Victoria went on to attack again through Riley. Back in towards Thornton. Back towards Power. Power sees the running play of Carazzo come through the centre. Carazzo's handball's an untidy one to Heinrich. Now back to Carazzo again. Has a little bit of a look. Stands and delivers. High up and under. It'll fall right on 50. Crow it is. Catch me if you can. I'm off. I want to kick a goal. A big Crow lets fly from 50. And splits the woodwork, and the Victorians get their 5th. So now we have a ball game on. 40 plays 39 for the first time in the match. The Victorian Metro are in front.
Well, that was great agility from the big man in Justin Crow. the son of Max Crowe, who played with Essendon and some time at the Bulldogs as well, but really an athletic, tall player, and we saw that there, the way he took the ball, turned, ran his 10 metres instead, he didn't kick the goal.
Pretty happy about it too.
Well, and so he should be too. Getting limited time on the ground during the first half. He's out there to make a stamp on the game himself.
Well, this is the young fellow I was talking about beforehand, hoping that you could tell me, Terry. I saw him warming up here on the boundary line and just wondering whether or not they were going to utilise him in the ruck and just use their ruckman off the bench. Again, in the centre of the ground, this player here, Carazzo, who began the game pretty well, is now getting plenty of the footy at the moment. Rutherford, Clancy Rutherford from Western Australia, was swung around there, but the free kick's going Victoria's way here, and it will go to Justin Crowe. So Crowe having a good passage of play at the moment. His kick's nice, delivers it straight down the throat of Chris Judd. And Juddy is virtually on true half forward. It's about 60 metres out, elects to go short. So just carried, found his teammate. Is that Ball? No, it's not Ball, might be Riley, I think. So Riley delivers it, and delivers it exceptionally well to Gutterson. Now, it's interesting to have a look at Gutterson. He runs and presents himself without jumping into the air, but look, the hands go right out in front of him, and he seems very strong on his feet, Terry.
Yeah,
if you know where I'm coming from.
Yes, I do. Yeah, it'd be hard to move in the contest if it's put at a height where he doesn't have to jump, as you're suggesting. Very strong there in the hips and the thighs.
Okay, Gutterson comes in for goal number 3. He'll kick right on 50. Right foot drop punt. It's a lovely looking kick. Has it got the accuracy? No. So it's another behind. So Victoria Metro doing plenty of attacking at the moment. Move on to 5'11", 6'3", 39 Western Australia. Coach, of course, by Phil Cronin. And the Victoria Metropolitan side, David Dixon, is their coach. Phil Cronin, of course, I think for those of us can remember, didn't Phil used to have the headgear when he played at St Kilda? This will test you. It's got to be in your era. West Australia into attack. Hales gets the handball off, finds his running player going past. And that was good defence. A lot to like about this fellow Roden here. If he can't make the contest, he makes it awfully hard for his opponent. And it's been a good matchup here, 15-2, Woods and Roden.
Yeah, Woods at different times has looked very, very dangerous in the forward pocket, but the more consistent performance by Roden probably has him with the points at this stage.
I'll tell you what, that was clever. Ferraro, I thought, was in all sorts of trouble here. This play here in Judd. Gets it across to teammate in Carazzo. Carazzo's quick hands off to Ball, and Ball's quick kick up here into the half-forward line sees the ball forced over the boundary line. It's interesting to note a lot of young fellows, when they have confidence, Terry, you saw the likes of Ferraro down there, and you saw Ball, you know, prepared to lift the ball up over an opponent or tuck the ball in one hand, and, you know, not showing off, but it just shows there's an air of confidence. Here's an air of confidence here. This looks like it might have been Parriers that had pitched it out of the ruck and kept going down. It goes straight down the throat of Crowe. He's tackled quickly here by Sampi. It was legitimate, though, but the kick's good enough here for Victoria, and this is Ryan Brown. Now, Brown is, again, almost directly in front of goal, but about 48 metres is where he'll, 46 metres is where he'll kick from. So let's have a look and see what he can do with it. Ryan Brown from Dandenong Doveton at 190 centimetres, so he's a fair lump of young fellow. Comes in deliberately, puts the ball on its way, and that has just gone to the right side of the goalpost, so another behind. So the Victorian Metro are racking up the behinds. That's their 17th scoring shot, is it? Yes, 17 scoring shots to 9.
A lot of those behinds early in the game I felt were the result of the pressure from the Western Australian side. I think it's now swung the other way, that the behinds now are coming from skill errors from the Vic Metro.
Well, they're deliberate shots, aren't they?
They're wasting opportunities here now to really put a solid stamp on the game.
Mark taken out here wide by Sakirka. Sakirka's kick's good. Finds Brown. Brown quickly to Armstrong. Armstrong for Western Australia just deliberates a little bit, has a look, see what options he's got up there. Good use of the body by the Victorians, by the Victorian player there, who I can't quite pick up at the moment.
Roden.
He's trying to keep Woods out. Was Roden, was it?
Yes, yeah, in front position, and in the old terminology, just putting the bum out and holding Woods out of the way and winning the free kick.
Well, it's Rutherford actually that comes away with the kick anyhow and gets it moving pretty quickly. Sorry, not Rutherford. Power it was that came away with the kick. As we have a look at the Victorian player out wide here, which is Crowe. Now, Crowe's kick Intercepted by Polak. Polak with a couple of goals.
Oh, there he goes.
From full forward. And have a look at this. Sampi, who we saw climb over the back of the pack before. The ball didn't carry to him, but I'll tell you, it is in the right spot there.
We had the under-16 national championships down in Tasmania last year, and Ashley Sampi showed us some of these skills in the wet conditions that we had. Here on the fine, dry MCG, well, that was just a wonderful jump from the young man from South Fremantle.
Well, let's have a look at Sampi. He'll kick from 50. Gives himself a chance. Comes in, long strides. Have a look at the kick. That is not a bad kick from a little fellow out there at 50 metres. That's travelled every bit of 60 and a bit metres. Wonderful kick, wonderful mark. Well done.
A class player is Ashley Sampi, playing senior football in the Waffle with South Fremantle under the coaching of Peter Sumich. Plays in the centre, plays half forward, plays in the back pocket, plays wherever you want Ashley to play at that level. And he, as we said at the half-time review, he's made an impact in the game when he went into that centre bounce during the second quarter, and now he's being able to display some skills down in the forward line.
Ashley Sampi from South Fremantle at 178 centimetres in height and 76 kilograms in weight. Again, about to get another possession of the football. Quick hands, pushes it forward though. Running play here is Heinrich for Victoria. Heinrich's kick delivered beautifully straight down the throat of Guttison again. I tell you what, they look for this fellow, but it's interesting to note with Guttison, they keep the ball low to him. We spoke beforehand how he doesn't really have to jump, so they know perhaps which are his strengths and which are his weaknesses, and they've delivered it beautifully to him on numerous occasions.
I think it was a very good kick from Tyson Heinrich, that it had to be across the body.
Sure.
And as you're saying, it needed to be in low because Aidan Parker was right there as the defender.
Guttison has 2. Will this be 3? And the kick again slews, and I think we'll find another behind. So wasted opportunities from the Victorian side. 42 plays 45. West Australia 7-3-45. Victoria Metro 5-3-43. The time clock tells us nearly 16 minutes gone of this third quarter.
So Aidan Parker, who has been very good, he's now got the job on Guttison. Daniel Hunt had it in the first part of this quarter, so Parker now needs to really assert himself against Guttison and try and cut these leads out.
Good mark by Tuck. Gets it going quickly. Vacant forward pocket. When I say vacant forward pocket, little Harvey was in there, presented himself well, and they'll bring it back again. Whoops, 1-2 grabs, but it's stuck. And we'll find here, this is Ball. Luke Ball. Sandringham Xavier College. And Ball. Now, we've seen so many goals missed from about this area and this range for Victoria.
Yeah, this is just about right for Luke. He's generally a 2 or 3 goal kicker in a game. Gets a lot of possessions in the middle of the ground. We can finish it off well from this spot, I think.
Well, his right foot. Gee, nice delivery. That's what you want to see. The goal umpire doesn't move. Watches that go straight over the top. And Luke Ball, as we now find, is one of the better kicks for goal in this Victorian side. So that gives Victorian Metro the lead back again. 6-13-49 to 7-3-45.
Well, it's been Ball and Heinrich. Harvey a little quieter in the early part of this third quarter, but Ball and Heinrich still winning possessions for Vic Metro and pushing it forward and giving their forwards as many opportunities as they possibly can. Guttison has started to take hold of a couple of those. Brown took a mark earlier. He's still dangerous there, and so they're now giving themselves a real opportunity.
Well, they're off out of the centre again pretty quickly here. Guttison. Oh, here's picked up by Harvey. Little snap on goal. Just offline. Is it? No, it's through. Oh, real Rovers goal from Harvey. And he, talking about putting ball across the face of your body, Harvey did just that. And this little fellow here has really opened the gap up now.
Yeah, Judd was very good in the centre bounce, being able to take it away, push it on wide. Then Harvey, just his sharpness around goal too, he's picked up now. If he can now complement the work that Guttison's doing, Guttison leading, Harvey smart in around ground level, the forward line structure of the Vic Metro side starts to look a lot better. They're the only 2 forwards inside 50 at this centre bounce.
All right, 55 plays 45. 10 points the margin now Victoria's way. 19 minutes all but gone. And clever tap from Walker. But the Victorians are now starting to feed off the West Australian. Guttison underneath the ball. Here's Harvey again. This one's even easier. And Harvey offline. When I said easier, he was easier. It seemed to be on his right foot. It wasn't his right foot, but being his right kicking foot.
Yeah, there was a bit more space there to be able to work, wasn't it? And He's certainly looking dangerous down there. Chidsey has done a very good job.
Be
We'll
interesting
just need to reassess it.
Interesting just to see here, Terry, keep an eye on perhaps whether the Victorians now are going to start feeding off the rucks of the West Australians, because the big fellow there in Seaby's been rucking quite nicely and getting first touch of the ball, although Crow's been tidy by the same token. Out wide to Chidsey. Been a very busy player. So too is Lynch at times. Lynch delivers the ball down here. Trapped pretty well by Woods. Or intercepted nicely by the Victorian there, because if Ablett, I've done it again, if Tuck hadn't intercepted that, why did we bring up that they were cousins beforehand? That's going to haunt me now. I think West Australia might have been off. Again, quick hands, good ruck work there that time by Walker. And there's a good grab.
Good mark.
Campbell Brown.
Yep. Son of Mel Brown, who played with Richmond. And Campbell, very hard-working player. He'll work across the back line here and then be prepared to run hard forward. Very strong player, Campbell Brown.
Rubbing salt into the wound against the old West Australian team here. Son of Mel. So let's have a look here. Stephen Armstrong. I was looking for our little man down there in Sampi, but he wasn't there.
There was Brown again. Brown was very good in there. The hands on out to ball quickly on again.
This ball's going to be a little bit untidy and beat them across the line here. This is Walker. Yeah, immediately I started to look for Sampi. He's right down here in front of you at the moment, but he was nowhere near the contest of that. Had a couple of flyers, an exciting player. Centre wing all but, and the time clock tells us almost 21 minutes gone. Flung out of the contest ball, and the ball left Ball's hands, and the tackle applied by Brown. So again, the boundary throw in right in front of the members stand here at the MCG. And big thump, that time off the hands of Walker. No one there though for him for Western Australia to be able to capitalise on his ruck work. Let's see what he can do again this time. Brown and Crow it is, or Walker and Crow it is, to do battle, I think. And again, the big thump. Well, the players were there, but the thump was so hard, it just went straight through the hands there of Brown, and he couldn't capture it. Here's Sampi. Whoops. Well, flung without the football. The free kick will come back here. No advantage paid, because there was no advantage there. But the free kick comes back here to Chidsey. Chidsey to Sampi. Harvey for Victoria on the chase. It's a nice kick, just inside 50. I think he might have lost sight of that power for Victoria. Here's a grab. No, play on, said the umpire. Back out here to Woods. Spins around, gets it back. They're spinning left, right and centre all over the place. Jones back in here again to Woods. Woods off hands. Now here's a quick snap on goal. Offline, unfortunately. And the little player picking himself up off the ground there, I think, might have been Sakirka.
That's right. It was like a pinball game just there, wasn't it? Players being flung around, the ball spun around very, very quickly and created the opportunity there for Sakirka, but just unable to finish it.
Goal would be handy for West Australia. Bring them a little bit further back into the contest. They've pretty well led all day in Victoria. Got a good passage, a good 10 minutes of football in this quarter so far, which has seen a bit better direct kicking for them. Right to centre wing, big pack forms, quick hands, out into ball. Got a few touches this quarter too. Here's the racehorse off here, James Kelly. And Kelly it is, who delivers right into the forward line. Have a look at little Harvey here. Whoa, was pulled off the football. Now, I'm not too sure whose boot that came off. I think the big West Australian might have helped that through.
Yep, good call, very good call. Yeah, did Shane Harvey have possession of the football when he was slung? I would have had it down at ground level myself, but with desperate times, so desperate measures from Nick Chidsey.
Chidsey it is, from full-back, the designated kicker. And gets it nicely out here towards Parker. Aidan Parker from Subiaco. Far side of the ground, southern side, here at the MCG. Not too many options for him, although I can see the big fellow here, and he's presented himself and he's found him. And that's number 24 in Tristan Walker. Now Walker, again, they might switch play here. Looking at Sampi out here on his own. Now he's been picked up. And the option's shut down. Wolf's on his own. Craig Wolf. Now, did we see this bloke last year? Craig Wolf, I think he got hurt or injured last year. Am I right or wrong here? We've seen a couple of young fellows that have played the last couple of years. Yesterday at Shell Stadium was a couple of the boys that we saw last year. There's a nice grab. Lovely pair of hands there from Mark Seavey. They get it moving pretty quickly here. The racehorse through Brown quickly in towards the forward zone. They know full well that the time clock's clicking down. Who's at home for them? Victoria. Defence stands tall. 2 on 1. And a great grab here for Victoria by Charlie Gardner. So Gardner was under a bit of pressure. Sampi was the player there that had to come across the top to try and punch it away. Now 2 Victorians, if the ball bounces kindly for them. I was about to say might nearly be able to sneak this ball up and get a score. They won't. Too quick for Luke Ball, who did manage to trap the ball. Let's have a look at the scoreboard, Terry. Much better quarter for the Victorians, 7-15-57. West Australia, 7-4-46. You do your homework. I'll come back and have a chat to you in a moment or two. Well, last quarter, Terry Wheeler. Let's put you under the pump and see how our better players were in that third quarter. And a good quarter for Victoria Metro.
Well, they really turned around a 4-goal 5 quarter to Vic Metro, with just the 1 goal and 4 behinds to Western Australia. And Metro really gathering up the football. They've had some 45 more disposals than Western Australia in those first 3 quarters. And the primary player, Luke Ball, has had 25 disposals at this stage. Carrazzo has had 16. Heinrich at 14, and also Tuck with 14. Where for Western Australia it's been Andrew Brown and Sakirka, both with 14.
Good tussle in the centre at the moment there. Judd it was who was trying to burst through. He's back in with another chance to try and get the ball. Does get a handball out. I think he might have got it to Ferraro, and there's a free kick being put on play here, and it'll go West Australia's way. And it may go to the opposite 11 here in Glancy. Craig Glancy, gee, it's a bit hard to say, is that Craig Glancy with the football here for Western Australia. And being given an option out here by Cade Lang, who created a bit of space on centre wing here, member side of the MCG. And West Australia kicking to the Melbourne end goal. Nice kick, 45 metres. Finds swooping on the footy is Sampi, the high flyer at ground level. A little bit scrambly at the moment, playing in front, getting the free. Probably should have got the advantage. Sakirka it was who came out A with the football and B with the free kick. So he goes B with the free kick and puts it right to the edge of the square. West Australia long arms up, and they've captured a wonderful mark. They could have raffled it between the two of them, but I think you'll find the player at the back there is going to emerge with it. I've got a feeling it might be Seaby. Yes.
That was an excellent mark, wasn't it? Very well judged. He was 3 deep in the line. But as we've mentioned right throughout the morning, he's a very tall player, and he threw himself up, and it was an excellent mark. Now kicking from some 30 metres out. Could
be a good start for Western Australia. Seaby's kick. Is it going to sneak in? I reckon it might have. Goal umpire went right to the opposite goal post and signalled all clear. So Seaby it is, Mark Seaby with his first goal, the West Perth player. And that's the start that West Australia would like.
And so they've structured up with Seaby now into the forward line there, giving them the marking target. And it's very encouraging for the coach, Phil Cronin, that once he's made that move that you get an immediate return. So that one's worked for them. It looks like Tristan Walker will do the ruck work at the centre bounces now for them. So they've got a good two-pronged tall man option there, centre bounces and at full forward.
Walker and Crow should favour Walker. Bounce just a little bit awkward. And we're having a look. Gee, busy little player. Glancy it was before who put the ball into the forward line. Now he's back there trying to get a gig. So is this player Judd too, who's in there fighting beforehand. Handball comes out. Up high as ball, trying to capture it. Comes to the ground level. Good recovery skills. Have a look at this. Right into the square. A bit stiff. The Victorian slipped at the vital stage. And unfortunately for him, the big West Australian in Lynch is going to take the mark. The umpire just having a little word. Settle down, fella. As Ryan Brown certainly wasn't going to let him take off. So Brown just slipping at the vital stage there, allowing Lynch to take the mark. Kick. That's a good one. It's not a bad kick out either. Tuck. Looking here for Carrazzo. Back to Tuck. Still trying to control the footy. Got caught up in a tangle of legs there, but still managed to get the football out wide. Carrazzo again. Now has a little bit of space this time. Swooping on him is Wolf. But Carrazzo's kicks right to the edge of the square. Pack forms. Who's at home? Punch clear. Swooping on it here is Heinrich. Let's have a look at the kick. I think it's over the boundary line. No, it's just snuck in for another behind. So the point's starting to rattle up here for the Victoria Metro. 7-16-58 to 8-4-52. Heinrich, a lot to like about him early. Terry wasn't there on the burst a couple of times. Quite exciting.
And he's stayed fairly consistent throughout the game, hasn't he, Heinrich? He's had 6 disposals in the first quarter, 5 in the second, but then just down to 3 in that third.
Ball carries to the back of the pack here, and Campbell Brown unable to control the footy and keep it in play. And I'm just
I like
having a
to
look.
see that. To see Brown
Yes,
there
yes.
and Riley, shouting instructions and coaching their teammates to ensure that every opportunity for Western Australia to get away is covered.
Well, it was interesting because it was Brown trying to pick up Brown, or signalling to pick up Brown. So the Browns, we've got 3 of them out there, haven't we, from Western Australia and Victoria. But it was Andrew Brown from Claremont, who, of course, has been a good goal kicker for him. And talking of him, here he is, right on centre wing, made great position, and has the football. Andrew Brown with 2 goals, as I said, to his credit so far. Pushes the ball high. A couple of Victorians will raffle this, and the player to take it is Crow.
It was always going to be Crow's. Polak slipped on the approach, and then Crow just kept coming at it very strongly.
James Kelly. I'll tell you what, there was another number 4 that looks a little bit like him too in Rains. And he just has a little bit of Jeff Rains about him, this fella, just the way he moves. I spotted a young fellow yesterday down at Shell Stadium that reminded us a little bit of Lance Whitnell. And it's interesting to have a look at these players out here. As we said before, Terry, it's the pathway to perhaps a career for them under the watchful eye. I keep using the word pathway, and I think it's a good one too. And we'll find a free kick going Victoria's way here. And
well, these championships are the culmination of a lot of work done at the state and territory level, where they work through their under-14s, under-15 squads, through under-16 championships, and then towards these under-18 championships. Many of these boys then will be heading off to the national draft camp in Canberra in October, and then the draft date in October.
Well, have a look at Judd here, kicking for goal. We'll talk about some of the draft players from last year. Judd just sort of leaned back on it a margin, and unfortunately it's drifted to the right-hand side of the goalpost and another behind. Yeah, the draft last year, we saw a lot of, well, we see players every year coming out of the draft, but just to mention a few, and of course the young fella that's down there at St Kilda at the moment, who I think he's had a knee, Rico, hasn't he? Last year we spotted him playing for South Australia, for Queensland, I actually think, in Nick Rewalt.
Correct.
He's been dogged with injury, but was one of the excitement machines of this championship last year. Jitsky also, as we see Victoria under, we're into attack again. Charlie Gardner getting it across here to Tuck. Tuck finding this running play here again in Heinrich, and he's going to go back and have a pot shot here, Heinrich. Love to watch him on the burst. Now he's looking for the shorts, and he's found his player out here, this little bloke here, and Harvey, who's busy.
Well, that was the right option from Heinrich, because that was outside of his distance, but I'm not sure now whether we've got this kicker to be inside his distance. This is it's a fair stretch for Shane Harvey here.
Well, he'll kick from probably about 40 metres. Might be 42. Now, Harvey, I'll tell you what, he's got distance, but accuracy is just a little astray. That's a good kick for a little fellow.
Well, I'm pleased to see that, because I was always of a little bit of an opinion that he wasn't a 45-metre plus kick, and that shows me that, yep, there is something in there for him.
Actually, you know what's a bit frightening? I shouldn't say frightening, but you know what is interesting? Just digressing for a moment or two. We're looking through some of these names from the draft last year. Didak, Motlop, Burgoyne, players who have really just stepped straight into AFL footy and sort of not given all that much time to get accustomed to the pace of it, but that's the schools level, isn't it?
Well, that's right. There's 2 who have played every game. We have Daniel Kerr at West Coast Eagles, who was here with the Western Australian boys last year, and then Ryan Loney.
Corns?
Yes, Kane is now establishing himself within the power side. So, yeah, I think we're most accurate when we describe this as a pathway. It really does develop the players for that ultimate product of being able to play AFL football.
Into attack. Riley it was, driving it down here, looking here for Harvey. It's gone over the top of him. Good defensive work there by Chidsey. Yeah, normally we'd probably see, Terry, maybe players taking a little bit longer to probably establish themselves in footy, but they're almost coming a ready-made product now.
Well, they are, yes, because and the more often now we see players out of this particular championships who are ready to play senior football AFL level in round 1 next year, and I think that's a solid tick for the program.
Trying to do the ruck work, and the work at ground level was Brown for the Victorian side. Tell us a bit about the academy. How long's it been going?
We now have had 4 intakes. Chris Judd there, he was in our 3rd intake, as was Tyson Heinrich, 2 players there. And there's Luke Ball, who is in the current group, just finishing up the 12 months now. So it's been a very productive program. But the other good thing is there's so many other players from outside it who
well
make
done, Carazzo on the burst. Managed to snatch that away. Is it going to bounce the other side? It does. And Andrew Carazzo, have a look at the points tally here. 7:19, I think it was 7:18. 7:19, 61 to 8:4:52.
It's really out of control, isn't it?
It is.
And, yeah, I'm sure Dave Dixon and the coaching staff will look to address it. It's difficult to address that sort of a thing inside a championship period where, in another 3 days' time we're up again to play. But it's just talking the boys through. They'll all have a look at these tapes later on this evening and tomorrow, and they just need to look at the errors they're making in technique.
Lovely hands from Campbell Brown. Came under plenty of attention from the West Australian. His hands were clean. They were good. Oh, it was Judd that flew across the front of the pack. Here's Harvey again. Gee, exciting little fellow. And it's just touched. Gee, it was coming back, but just didn't quite have the carry. Gets the hard ones.
He does, yeah. A statistic that we don't have, Rob, is the number of times Vic Metro have hit the post and the number of times that the ball has been forced through or touched through by the Western Australian defence. So, we might give them 9 or 10 of those. So that's as a result of being pretty close.
50% of them at least.
Yeah, so they're not far off the mark. They just need to be able to hone it in so their quality players, the ones who are really there to kick goals, are making sure of those opportunities.
Pollock looks for Chidsey and Chidsey marks. Ooh, falling awkwardly there is Sampi. The pressure applied. Clever. Chidsey punches it back in, but allows Victoria through the agency here of Heinrich again. Heinrich comes back, finds Riley. Riley stands, delivers in towards centre half forward. And they've made space, and this is Judd. Judd's lifted a little bit.
He's starting to just come to the top of the game, isn't he? Quite early, just the one touch in the first quarter, picked up, say, 4 in the second and also in the third. But now just getting some quality use of the ball inside 50.
Looking for his first goal, Chris Judd leans back on it again from inside 50. Shouldn't be too critical, but I'm just watching you bang the table here as if to say, well, they're ones that shouldn't be getting away that easy.
Well, why I'm critical is that these boys know that they've got to keep their momentum going forward, and they're leaning back.
Here he is again. Sorry, mate. This is Harvey.
Eyes are darting. Just needs to make a decision. Okay, am I going to be the goal kicker here or not? He still hasn't made the decision.
We saw it. Now, this is interesting because we saw him kick one from about 42 metres beforehand, and it had a carry. Now, that's good unselfish football. It had a carry of about 10 or 15 metres the other side. Yeah. So we know full well that he is a good kick of the football, yet unselfishly was looking to give off, and he's found here Charlie Gardner. So Gardner probably on a more awkward angle because, I tell you what, it's a good shot. Charlie Gardner will give you a pat on the back. Goal umpire nearly went off too early there. I just was waiting for the goal umpire to signal from Sandringham Geelong Grammar. Gets his first goal. I was thinking he was probably under a more awkward situation from the point of view of probably being closer to goal but being further up against the goal where it wasn't open to him.
I mean, the result was there. But Vic Metro have got the goal. I'm not sure whether it was the right decision by Harvey to play the ball into that tighter pocket.
He'll tell you it was.
Oh, I'm sure. That's fair enough. I mean, the fish in the basket always tell the story. But I think Harvey has to make a clearer decision as to whether he's going to be the goal kicker or whether he's going to feed the ball off. He was caught in two minds there.
I like that. The fish in the basket. I've never heard that before.
I just made that.
Did you? Very good. I always thought it was the fish in the boat, but then again, if you're fishing from the pier, you probably do put them in a basket. Okay. Bit of useless information there. Tackle put on Luke Ball, brought to the ground. The wisdom of our AIS representative here in Terry Wheeler. We're learning all the time, aren't we? Let's have a look at the clock here. Nearly 13 minutes gone of this last term, and Victoria controlling the footy game here at the moment. 8:21.69, 8:4:52. Whoa, a big climb up in the air there from the West Australian ruckman. Let's follow the fortunes of the ball because it's boot back. Look, Harvey underneath the footy here, but West Australia quick to recover through Polak. We'll look to give off. Sakirka tries to find his teammate in Lang, who only offered the short option. The hands from Parker. Can they open it up? Intercepted here by Ball. Chipping in nicely. Hooker. Victoria. This is where they start to look good. Riley. Undone here by Lang. Chipped in again. It's a bit like basketball here. The big fellow here in Gardner. Getting it across nicely here to Guttison. And Guttison stands and delivers and goes, thank you very much. That'll be goal number 3 for Guttison. And the Victorians, I think, have all got it wrapped up. All but got it wrapped up. Tell you what, I don't know whether you'd call it tidy football because there weren't too many clean possessions, but Victorians managed to control it a little bit better.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle in there, but they've been persistent at it. They've kept numbers around the ball all the time. So even when there was a skill error or a drop of the ball, someone was there to gather it and clean it up. And Gutterson, that's a good goal to get for him. I mean, all his other shots have been as a result of good marks and leads, and just shows a little bit of versatility there in being able to kick one across his shoulder.
So 3 to Gutterson. The other dual goal kicker is Shane Harvey. As we said beforehand, has been a very, very busy player. Justin Crowe over the top of it. Quick hands here from West Australia, who get it out of the centre. Here's a chance to get the ball at centre half forward. I thought it might have been Seaby coming out. Now spinning around is Crawford. Crawford has an option and an easy one here for Agostino. Now Agostino from 40 metres directly in front of goal, 45 metres directly in front of goal.
Well, there's still plenty of time for Western Australia. We haven't got to the 15-minute mark yet, so there's still 10 minutes of play left inside of this, but it needs 3 very quick goals, and this has to be the first of those 3.
Looking here for goal number 9 from Frank Agostino. The left footer sends it on its way. It's gone to the right-hand side of the goalpost, and good kicking up till half-time. 6 straight goals, the West Australians, whereas the Victorians had 3 goals, 10. But the pendulum has swung the way of the Victorian Metropolitan side. Power. Little kick finding his teammate Thornton just deep in the pocket. Now they'll need a bit of teamwork here. The running player here of Power provides that option. They swing play across the opposite side of the ground. And again, they're prepared to set it up. Handball from Ball. Gets it off here to Tommy Hooker, and the Hooker lets go from about 40 metres out and goes straight down the throat of Harvey, who was just playing in front. I won't say that Chidsey did anything wrong. It's just that it was a wobbly old kick. Little players, they are front and presented, aren't they?
Yeah, very much so. I think there's a couple of points in that. We saw Luke Ball out this side of the ground being an option and a hard runner, but it was mirrored on the other side by Andrew Tuck. So the Vic Metro always have 2 sides to go to. Ends up here with Harvey now.
So Harvey drills this one here, and he becomes the equal top goal scorer here with Brent Gutterson. They both have 3 apiece. Shane Harvey from Northern Preston RSL, and I think Big Brother would be pretty proud of his performance today, wouldn't he?
No doubt about that, and probably sitting in the stands here somewhere. I mean, the Harvey family are very committed and supportive of football, obviously. And probably with those goal scorers there, Vic Metro, the 2 boys getting 3 goals, that's where the WA now have fallen down, with only 2 goals to Polak and Brown being their leading goal scorers. And to win games at this level, someone's got to stand up and kick you at least 4 goals.
Okay, let's take play back to the centre of the ground here. And Crowe it was who perhaps got the decisive tap out, but swooped on by the West Australians. Have a look at the desperation of the boys out there in the centre of the ground at the moment. Bottling it up, throwing bodies over the top of the football, not allowing clear possession to come out. So there's plenty of them around the footy at the moment, as our umpire is about to put it down again in the centre here of the MCG. Time clock tells us nearly 17 minutes gone. Trapped. And the whistle played, I didn't see what that was for, although he's paid the free kick to Agostino, but no advantage here. And Agostino had a shot on goal just a few moments ago. We'll kick this ball. It's a wobbly old kick and almost a mark. Taken an awkward one at that too. The falling football there to Hooker. He just couldn't quite capture it. The umpire letting play go on. West Australia nearly getting away with this here. There was good hands there from Crawford, but they just didn't find their mark. And the ball beating Heinrich over the boundary line here for Victoria. So 81 playing 53. 18 minutes all but gone. And Victorian Metro looked like marching through last year. Of course, Victoria Metro defeated South Australia in their first encounter, and looked like adding West Australia to their list of scalps, although it's been a battle for them so far. Picked up by Riley. Riley towards half forward, and that's a good grab. He's talking about 3rd and 4th in line. That player there was about 3rd in line, and that's Charlie Gardner. He's had quite a few touches, Gardner, in this quarter too. And that's a wonderful mark there by Polak. Polak at the other end of the ground now in defence. Polak, of course, talking of good marks, here's another one to Riley. So we're seeing some nice passages of football here, or some nice marks, as Riley's kicking towards centre half forward. It's going to fall short. And unfortunately for his leading forward there, and Ryan Brown, he was in all sorts of trouble. Now 50 metres here. will bring the West Australians, not a lot in it, but it was there and contact was made. And we'll find here the West Australians who want to get this ball moving pretty quickly. It could be Cade Lang, is it? Who caught one just a little bit high. We'll have a look in a moment or two as West Australia from the back of the square, right on the square, will deliver the football and deliver it. Well, that's a pretty good kick. We can't ask him to do much better than that, because he found here Quentin Lynch. Lynch, good size player. And I'm just trying to have a look. It might have been, well, yes, I was just about to say it could have been Wolf that actually delivered that ball. And I'm just having a look here coming off the ground as Sampi. I'm not too sure whether he's injured, but his place is being taken here by Michael Hales. Now let's have a look kick here from the West Australian. Has it snuck in? I think it might have. So West Australians, as you said, Terry, they're not out of it.
No, time's the enemy now. I mean, we're approaching time on. Quentin Lynch has gone forward to kick that goal. Polak's gone back to centre half back during this quarter. And I think that just shows the dilemma they got themselves into after half-time. I mean, Polak really at centre half forward started the game well, a couple of good strong marks, got a goal, but has kicked 2 goals, but then didn't give them the focal point they were looking for and went out of the game. So they've just rolled them over here now. Time very, very hard now. 59 playing 81, so it's 22 points.
So down goes the ball back in the middle of the MCG here at the moment, getting a very, very high. There was Parry getting the tap for the West Australian side. Little player underneath the footy here and marking it as Clancy onto his chest. Now, he want to get it moving pretty quickly because he knows the clock's against him. Lead's good, but just too far, and dropping back, taking a nice mark is Thornton. Thornton gets it going quickly. And here we start to see the running players in ball, combining here with Ryan Brown. Brown goes back, deliberate kick, a nice one too. Travels 45, 50 metres right to the 50 metre, the attacking 50. Here's Harvey, clever football, tries to paddle along without getting real clean possession of it. Opposition player there just grabbing at his jumper in Lang.
Interesting, isn't it, the decision there? You know, is he in control of the ball? If he is he holding it? Is he being held with the jumper?
I think umpire did the best thing there, just let it flow.
That's right, if you're uncertain, let the game go.
Whoops, free kick must go Victoria's way here. Unfortunately, just getting into the back of him, Parry. It might have been a bit of a tangle at legs that caused him to go forward onto him. And the free kick goes Victoria's way here to Charlie Gardner.
Gardner's been pretty good right throughout. I've liked his marking. Very agile, mobile type of player.
I don't know whose shorts you've got on there, Charlie, but there's plenty of room for improvement. And, oh, that's snuck in. That's not a bad kick. Good kick from Charlie Gardner. In fact, I've got Charlie down for 1 goal, so that's his second. So 2 goals to Charlie Gardner from Sandringham, a Geelong grammar boy.
Well, yes, I think he's offered something, particularly since half-time. He's offered quite a bit into the forward line there for Vic Metro, and that was an excellent kick to be able to finish the all off. Players who are really continuing on. Luke Ball just is racking up getting possessions through the middle of the ground. Heinrichs right there beside him. Got big Justin Crowe back in the ruck. I think he made an impact on the game straight after half-time when he came off the interchange bench. So everyone in the Vic Metro now starting to get a little bit of a handle on the football.
Parry, big tap in the centre. Went out here to Agostino, was held without the foot. He's still in there battling with it, dispossessed of it. Now he's going to get penalised, unfortunately. He really was, unfortunately, the only one that wanted the footy at one stage.
That's right. But the tackle from Sam Powell wasn't too bad at all. And once you go to ground with the football, that's dropping the ball. And unfortunately, there's a 50-metre penalty applied against the Western Australian boys here.
Yes. I dare say coaches wouldn't be wanting this happening as we start to tick over into red time here now. 22.5 minutes gone of this final term. And have a look at the pass here. Almost captured. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Victoria through Gutterson, spins, goes back, tries to have a snap on it. Good capture here by Judd. Judd's kick's only a little one as well too. Picked up here quickly by Chitsky, who's done exceptionally well for West Australia in defence today. And Chitsy's kick just goes over the boundary line inside 50. It's been one of their tries all day in Nick Chidsey.
Yeah, I agree. Chidsey, Andrew Brown's been quite busy right throughout. Quentin Lynch at centre half back and Mark Seaby has rucked tirelessly right throughout.
Now let's have a look and see whether we'll get another score before siren time. And Wolf it was, who headed for the boundary line, was kept in by his teammate here. Ooh, just slipping at the vital stage. Probably pick up a free here, Kelly. Will he get one? Yes, he will. So James Kelly from, where's Rupertswood? Calder Rupertswood. Obviously you don't know.
At Sunbury Way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, sorry.
I thought you took a little while to answer there. I thought, well, hang on, if I don't know, I'm going to ask you anyhow. Here's Chidsey again with the kick out from defence. And chance here for Tuck. He'll swoop on it if it bounces up nicely for him. Good shepherding there by Harvey. And let's have a look and see what he does with this. Goes down the throat of Ferrara, who really had to dive onto it because it was falling short. And, well, if it wasn't the nail in the coffin before, this certainly will be it. 24 minutes all but gone. And Ferraro knows that the siren's not far away, so he's going to take all the time in the world. So let's have a look at Robbie Ferraro from about 40 metres out on a slight angle. See if he can get the final goal here for the Victoria Metro, and he'll get his name into the record books because that one's pretty good. So the Victoria Metro have really made a bit of a one-act affair of it after three-quarter time here. 12-21-93, the final score. 9-5-59 for West Australia. We won't have time to have a look at stats, so let's quickly have a look at through perhaps who some of your better players are. The goal kickers, the dual goal kickers, anyhow for Victoria Metro. Brett Gutterson with three also to Shane Harvey, 2 to Charlie Gardner, and singles to Crow and Ball. And, of course, Robbie Ferraro, they're kicking that last goal for them. On the other side of the ledger for Western Australia, 2 each to Pollack and also Andrew Brown. Singles to Sampi, Clancy, Quentin Lynch and also Mark Seaby. And 1 there to Lindsay Woods.
So the Western Australians, are in no particular order, but Chidsey and Lynch in the back line were pretty good at it all day. I thought Brown in the middle of the ground. Sampi was in and out at different stages. Adam Jones faded out in that last quarter. Didn't see much of Jonesy there. Seaby was a good player in the ruck for them, but Vic Metro, they really began to gather possessions. The further the game went, the more control they got of the ball, and the ball belonged to, in actual fact, Luke Ball. He just had a heap of it right throughout. Harvey busy, Heinrich, so their small players really dominated the game. Gutterson with 3 goals is a good finisher player towards the end of it, and I even thought that Tuck running around the ground up and down was a tireless worker for them right throughout.
Yes, entertaining game of footy for Division 1. The start of it here, of course, we're talking about the Ansett AFL Under-18 National Championships here at the MCG. Game 2 coming up very, very shortly. Thanks, Terry Wheeler. Look forward to catching up with you later in the week. Just repeating that Victoria Metro 12-21-93 defeating West Australia 9-5-59. Back with more soon.